The Golden Human Codex 3 Coherent Creation. Welcome, Golden Humans, to Episode 7 Legacy Without Attachment. Long-term impact without nervous system gripping. Legacy is often misunderstood as something that must be controlled, secured, or strategically preserved. But in a coherent system, true legacy does not arise through forceful imprinting. It emerges through regulated contribution that continues to ripple after the moment of action has passed. When the nervous system is attached to outcome, contribution becomes distorted. The body tightens around reception, recognition, performance, and proof. This creates subtle internal strain that interferes with the very signal trying to move through. The golden human does not create from the need to be remembered. They create from internal congruence. And because of that, what they offer carries a more serene, sublime, and durable imprint. Legacy becomes most exalted when it is no longer entangled with self-protection.
The rhythm of the body never lies.
Core teachings. Attachment to outcome is a physiological contraction, not just a mental habit. Most people think attachment is emotional or physiological, but it is also deeply biological. It often appears as bracing in the abdomen, tension in the jaw, collapsed breathing, urgency around response, or fixation on whether something landed. When the body is gripping for result, the nervous system is no longer creating freely. It is attempting to secure safety through external confirmation. Legacy becomes cleaner when the body is no longer using impact as proof of worth. Regulated contribution has longer lifespan than performative effort. What is created from coherence tends to travel further because it carries less distortion. It does not exhaust itself trying to persuade, prove, or overcompensate. This is why some words, gestures, teachings, art, or leadership moments remain alive for years. They were created from a stable, internal field rather than a fragmented one. The most numinous contributions are often the least forceful. Trying to control how you received wakens the signal. The more energy spent controlling interpretation, timing, reception, or emotional response, the less energy remains available for actual integrity of expression. A coherent nervous system understands that once something is offered clearly, it can be released. The golden human does not chase resonance. They refine signal. Letting go is not detachment from care. It is detachment from distortion. Non-attachment does not mean becoming cold, passive, or disengaged. It means participating fully without collapsing into control. This is a more mature form of contribution. You still care. You still offer. You still create with precision and devotion, but you are no longer metabolically fused with what happens next. That is where felicity returns to the body. Legacy is strengthened when identity is not fused with output. If your sense of self rises and falls with what you produce, every act of creation becomes overcharged. The body cannot relax into contribution if contribution is carrying the burden of identity maintenance. But when identity stabilizes internally, output becomes cleaner and more delicious and more sustainable. Then your work can breathe. Coherent influence ripples through nervous systems, not just ideas. Legacy is not only informational, it is physiological. People do not just remember what was said, they remember how their system felt in the presence of your signal. A regulated person leaves traces of safety, clarity, precision, and possibility in the environments they touch. This is why the golden human's impact is often subtle but enduring. It reorganizes through coherence, not domination. Releasing the timeline restores trust in natural ripening. Many people suffer not because they are misaligned, but because they are impatient with the timing of impact. They want immediate evidence that what they offered mattered. But biological and relational integration often unfolds slowly. Seeds do not become invalid because they are not instantly visible. A serene nervous system can trust delayed flowering. Legacy becomes opulent when it is no longer trying to survive. The deepest work does not beg to be kept alive. It carries enough coherence to continue without strain. This is the paradox. When you stop gripping to preserve your influence often becomes more alive, more Elysian, and more lasting, because what is offered in wholeness tends to remain in the field.
Every feeling is a message from inside.
Golden human frame. The golden human creates, speaks, leads, and offers without clinging to the afterlife of their action. They understand that coherent contribution does not need to be chased after once released. It does not need to be defended, over-explained, or emotionally monitored. They trust that what is true will move where it is meant to move. Their legacy is not built through grasping. It is formed through regulated presence repeated over time. That is what leaves a golden imprint.
Storm or sunshine is all the same road. Energy moving through a hue and cold.
Ritual. Light white sage and allow the smoke to move slowly through your space. Stand or sit comfortably and bring awareness to your body as you think of something you have created, offered, taught, said, or shared that you are still gripping internally. Notice where that attachment lives physically. Is it in the chest, the throat, the jaw, the abdomen? As the white sage burns, inhale slowly through your nose for 4. Hold for 2. Exhale through your mouth for 6. With each exhale, silently say, I release the need to control the ripple. Do this for 5 breaths. Then place one hand on your sternum and one on your lower abdomen and say, what is mine to offer is complete when it is true. Let the body register that completion does not require monitoring.
People say emotions make you weak, but the heart speaks truth when the mind can't speak.
Today's affirmation: I contribute with coherence and release with trust. After completing anything today, sending, posting, speaking, creating, offering, pause for one full breath and fully unclench the abdomen before moving on. Let the body learn that completion can feel serene, whole, and sufficient. When attachment softens, contribution becomes cleaner, and what remains after the release is often more powerful than what was produced through force. If this episode brought relief, clarity, or a more exalted relationship to your impact, like, comment, save, and share, so others may remember that legacy does not require gripping to be real. And in episode 8, Living as a Coherent Creator, we close the series by exploring what happens when creation is no longer something you do, but something your whole being becomes. Walk as the golden human whose influence does not cling, chase, or collapse. Let your presence, your work, and your offerings move with serene precision, numinous trust, and quiet truth. This is how the most sublime legacy